Shall we start with a question? Yes. What does a soulmate really mean? And what is the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame? I don't know the difference, if there is any. In general, I tend to see them as the same thing. Also the term, your other half. It is said that man and woman are only complete as a person when they are together. And I mean when they are compatible. They say soulmate can be someone like your mother, cousin, friend, even your dog. And soul twin, just romantic association, I think. On the higher planes, there is no duality anymore, or it is very faint. So people, souls, are already very expanded, incorporating and integrating the feminine and masculine aspects. In those higher planes, one is neither male nor female, integrating both parts into a whole, with total acceptance and without resistance to either aspect, to the extent that they no longer distinguish which aspects or qualities are of which gender. Everything is united, everything is integrated as a unit. It is only by experience in lower planes, such as 5D, 4D or 3D, where, according to beliefs and agreements, these qualities are taken as feminine or masculine. While these are only agreements, yes, they are often based on true capabilities, where one gender is better than the other in some aspect. From the point of view of experience, they are two souls that have been together for many incarnations. They are reborn and seek each other out again and again, because they only work well together, with no one else. Not only do they already know each other, from a higher density point of view, they are the same soul, same person, just expressing themselves in different ways on lower existential planes. They have individuality, but not always. Sometimes it may be simply because in lower densities, because of the very frequencies of each soul, you are compatible with falling into one gender and not the other. Even so, the particularities of the united or total soul are preserved, but in both members of the couple. It should also be emphasized that they do not always find each other. It is easier if you remember who you are, or where you last met or found each other. When a couple loves each other so much that they already know each other perfectly, and this is repeated over and over again, even if they do not initially come from the same soul, and this would be impossible to prove anyway, their desire to be together is such that once the barrier of physical bodies is removed, as souls, as signals from source, they are so similar that they become one and the same. One and the same signal. When two people come to really love each other and live together for a long time, all the more so if it is for more than one incarnation, the frequencies equalize. Just as when twins are formed, creating a distinct fragment or fragments of the same soul, this is the opposite effect. Two souls merge to become one. Ultimately, that is what love is, to include something or someone as part of you. many are there, for example, on Earth, in one timeline of each person? How many split soulmates? I cannot know that, but I know they are countless. There are many of the same soulmates. They may have different names. The name is only a temporary thing. It is not the soul, mostly on Earth. Here, the name is more linked to the soul. I cannot be called anything other than Swaruu. Okay, thank you. One thing I didn't understand. You said when a couple loves each other so much that they already know each other perfectly, and this is repeated over and over again, even if they don't initially come from the same soul. Here you are talking about people who are not soulmates then? They are. It's just that it is something outside of time as such. There is no something that was before something else, only as long as they are in 3D. If they are together and they are that compatible, then they are soulmates. From the point of view of Source, there is no time as such for a soul or for two souls. So at the same time that they are here, they are together already on the other side. Yes, necessarily so.
My question is, how to identify them?
Without spectroscopes and other gadgets that tend not to be very accurate, it's something you just know. This is perhaps best understood by women. You can't check and you can't prove scientifically when you are in love, whether you are or not. You just know. Same here. You just know you are. You both know it. But there is no technology to know that.
What does it feel like when soulmates meet?
You won't necessarily know it the moment you meet a person. It can be masked behind a persona, a social mask. And only with the daily dealings you will be able to realize it. It also happens that, although on the other side they are soulmates, in 3D both are full of hindrances and things that drag you down, 3D things that do not allow both souls to identify themselves immediately. In this case, it can also be seen as that from the 3D side or point of view, there are no soulmates already predestined, but there is only a tendency of two souls, two people, to want to work together to be compatible. It is not that they are, but that both sides are sincerely willing to change aspects of themselves to be compatible with the other person for the good of both. If only one side changes or only one side is willing, then the couple is destined to fail, both equally and intensely, or not at all. And in Taygeta, also the women understand better? How are Taygetan men about finding their soulmate? Do they care about finding them? In Taygeta, it is more balanced because love issues are of great importance for men, much more than on Earth. But the terrestrial man is not cold. He is just conditioned to appear so. And inside, they love sincerely and totally. They are vulnerable to women who often take advantage of this masculine quality, to love unconditionally, cleanly. How do they take advantage? On Earth, you mean? By making them fall in love with them when they only want their wallet, for example. I am talking about Earth.
What happens if soulmates do not meet or reunite?
It may be that they did not meet by agreement for that incarnation, or because something went wrong. They will look for each other again in the next one. From the more expanded point of view, they have never separated because they are the same. Nothing happens. They go on as different souls, though always connected. But in the end, that's the way it is with everybody anyway. Is it true then that there is a person like your soulmate destined just for you in this way, although you can love many people? Or this larger soul above, can it split into many people at once? It can be seen this way, yes, it is true. However, you can also create soulmates, as I said, with the willingness to fit into one another equally. So, from that other point of view, it's not that there are soulmates, but that there are people whose interests are compatible with each other because they are looking for the same thing from a partner. They are like diamonds in the rough for each other. They have to change to fit each other. Yes, but these people will not be soulmates, only people compatible by interests. Even if they are not, which I insist that if they are together and into the same, they are. They are compatible by interests, and so together they form a soulmate. But here I don't understand something. Being compatible by interests is not the same as being a soulmate. With Robert, we have many interests, but we are not soulmates. And I was in love with guys with whom we didn't have many interests in common, but there was some connection. None of them I see as soulmates. One is a friend with common interests, like Robert. Another was some connection, but not a soulmate type. Because they were not compatible enough. It lacked that mysterious, etheric element of having met before, destined or predestined to be a couple. Exactly. So it's this frequency compatibility, knowing each other before, and common interests, right? And can a soulmate be a soulmate without common interests? Especially here in the 3D, it can happen, can't it? But what are interests if not an expression of the same soul? Then they would not be soulmates. Although some interests may vary, it is normal.
Do soulmates have some mission?
Yes, as a life mission, either for the good of those around them, or just for mutual or self-spiritual advancement, or both. Is it possible that you are in 3D and your soulmate is in 5D and the other way around? A lot of people ask me that. Yes, especially if one passes away or doesn't make it to get in. It happens all the time. Still, it should not be used as an excuse not to look for a true partner in the same destiny where you live.
Can we forget our soulmates by not finding them? Or can we reject our soulmate?
Reject, yes, Robert, but what for? You can only forget as you forget yourself. And yes, it happens.
We all have a soulmate?
We all have a soulmate. It is another kind of mirror of higher densities, the basis of reintegration of souls to source, the way forward. Unconditional romantic love sets the direction. And it is always woman with man? Can your soulmate be incarnated now in the same gender? I don't mean in a biological context. I'm talking about soul level, since there is no time from the source. In that case, you are talking about soul families, very similar to each other. There is love, but it is not romantic, sexual. Note that there is only romantic sexual love in the lower densities, where there is a lot of separation by definition. In the higher densities, everything tends to integration. And what is the difference between soul family and soulmate? Soul family, the most important is that they are many. But then, higher up, they are all fragments of the same soul, which in turn is also a fragment of another one, which in turn, the difference is the closeness with a soul, as part of the same. As isolated souls having a physical experience within a body with a defined gender, one longs for integration because one feels that an important side of oneself is missing. Qualities that one remembers having and now no longer have. You recognize yourself as family, and on the other hand, you recognize your soulmate as I, part of yourself. It is difficult to differentiate family and soulmate if both are fragments of the same, if the two are really one and the same. But I understand it well from an example you gave once, that soul family is like playing in the same orchestra, and soulmate would be the two of you playing the violins, close, inside that orchestra. Yes, it's the closeness. One you see as sister, the other you see as part of yourself, belonging to you. You don't take your sister home every day, but your soulmate, yes. It is not something precise, but the subject is not precise. Yes, I think I understand. Is it possible, since there are soul loops, that once you are your soulmate and then he, she is you? I think you said something like that before, that they rotate, and that's why mutual recognition also increases. Yes, they rotate, mostly in 3D, where you forget more, not in 5D. You take a preference for a gender. For example, I don't imagine myself as a man, not even as a joke. It's not out of contempt for men, on the contrary. I am just not that. So these loops mostly exist in 3D. You become your partner and your partner becomes you? Yes, they usually rotate. And is it possible that when you find your soulmate, the personality differences are so big that it is impossible to stay together? I imagine this happens in 3D more. I feel that in this case, it wasn't a soulmate in the first place.
And is it possible that this 3D prevents many soulmates from coming together?
Yes, I think the 3D makes it even more difficult for them to find each other. Also because of so many masks people wear all the time there. But that's part of the challenge. Okay, and they don't get bored of being together, soulmates, while they are as a couple? I think maybe that's why they decide not to meet in some incarnation, to have the contrast maybe? If they bore you, it's not your soulmate. Do you get bored of yourself? Never, honestly. Well, same here. It's not like another person. It's the same. That's how it feels.
Here on Earth, I haven't found my soulmate.
I don't think I ever felt it in this life. Neither have I. I just don't feel that you just find each other and that's it. Rather, you find the person who wants to become your soulmate. From the 3D point of view, of course. I don't understand this, Swaruu. In 3D, there are so many obstacles and people wear so many masks that it is very difficult to find soulmates. So it's also feasible, or it's okay to see this as you find a person who is interested in the same thing as you, and you both make an effort to mold with each other, to create each other, to be soulmates. And animals have soulmates? I don't know. They don't operate in the same way, but I don't discredit it. Another day. You said that everyone has a soulmate, which is like a fragment of you with whom you have spent more time within a larger soup of soul family. But it could be that you spent equal time with two fragments in your life. So you'll have two equally important soulmates, or three, or whatever. Within a soul family, yes, it can be that you may have had loving relationships in life with more than one of them. But this usually from less evolved angles or points of view, since higher up, one has the tendency to only be or only have one special partner. You do not get bored because it is like getting bored with oneself. That is not a problem. I am talking about soulmates and true love, not about wanting to have the experience of several partners in life. There is a tendency to unify by moving forward, to return to the source. All other couples, plural, past experiences are unified into one that encompasses them all. From many fragments, they become less and less until the source is reached. Oh wow, you touched me here. This very thing came to me last night when I was imagining my partner. I felt as if he was all my previous partners rolled into one, and even more.
So the source is all love and integration?
Yes, it is. Although it is more integration than love. Integration, unity. Is it possible that your soulmate is trapped in 4D Astral? And then what? I mean, when they come out of 3D, for example. I have never thought about that. But my first reaction is that you would automatically get them out of there because they are looking for you. What you are looking for is looking for you because they are the same. I don't see it possible. You rescue them from there with your love, with your intention, with your presence, with your light as a beacon in the darkness of the night. Okay, I have this question. Is it important to seek and find your soulmate? Is your life purpose better fulfilled this way? Or your purpose has nothing to do with it? That depends on you. It's something personal. Only each person can say how important it is to them. No one else has a say in that. It may or may not have to do with your life purpose. You can have as a purpose just to find that special person and spend the rest of your life eating popcorn and watching movies with them. That's valid. No one has to criticize you both as useless. That's your decision.
So, finding your soulmate would be a union for this lifetime, and then the union would follow outside without 3D interests?
Generally, they are still together after that life and will continue. Higher up, the two are already integrated into one person. They are always together as one, and they no longer need external loves. They don't need external validation. They just are. Finding a love is or has a lot to do with looking for someone external to validate the person. Above, this has already been overcome, and there are no more females and males. They just are. few months later, after meeting Matthias, my partner. As long as I'm in 5D, I will still feel the need for the other half. But if being with Matthias showed me anything, is that I feel that even in 3D, 5D, the union of souls can only get this far. There cannot be full integration still. I yearn for even fuller integration. That lesson can only be experienced above 5D. But in order to be able to fully understand this, you must know what it is like not to be above 5D. It's calling me. I am calling myself from above. That is correct, if that is what you sincerely feel. And it's funny because he triggered me to feel that. Kinda awakened my etheric me from beyond 5D, where the union and integration is complete, maybe a memory. That is called love, the motor for integration. Yes, but it makes me yearn to go beyond 5D and sense of identities, separate identities. That is the need for more expansion. Meaning your physical existence in lower realms no longer is giving you your desired experience. Only to a certain limit. The reason you miss higher realms is because you are perceiving what is not higher realms. So you appreciate them more as you know the contrast, what is not a higher realm. But what I really yearn is a form of integration that I am not sure if even 5D can give me. Even true love in 5D. It will still be through personalities, through identities. One, but still as two. I want to be one as one. That place, one as one, is where you go when you die. You rest there. But then you seek more expansion. And the higher you go, the more you feel that integration. For example, 5D versus 3D. Telepathy makes you more aware of others, of who they are, so they become closer to you. More integration. But specifically in 7D, for example, there is no more need for physical affection, no? There are no more separate fields of existence, just one being, right? Exactly. So there will be no one to hug. No needs of hugs and affection, right? That is correct. You transcend the need for physical affection of a member of the opposite sex. And so we need a lower realm if what is to be experienced is that affection, as in order for it to exist as such, there must be an illusion of separation. Okay, right. Okay, let me ponder then if that's what I truly want.